Yatra kalo nimisham para prabhu kuto nudeva jagatam ya ishire nayatra sattvam
Yatra
narajastamas
kalo nimisham para prabhu
nave vikaro namahan pradhanam na not yatra wherein kalaha destructive time animisham of the heavenly demigods paraha superior prabhu controller Kutaha, where is there? Nu, certainly. Deva, the demigods. Jagatam, the mundane creatures. Ye, those. Ishire, rules. Na, not. Yatra, therein. Satvam, mundane goodness. Na, nor. Raja, mundane passion. Tamaha, mundane ignorance. Cha, also. Na, nor. Why, certainly. Vikaraha, transformation. Na, nor. Mahan, the material causal ocean. Pradhanam, material nature. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. In that transcendental state of Labdopashanti, there is no supremacy of devastating time, which controls even the celestial demigods who are empowered to rule over mundane creatures. And what to speak of demigod themselves? Nor is there the mode of material goodness, nor passion, nor ignorance, not even the false ego, nor the material causal ocean, nor the material nature. Would someone would like to read the purport?
I can read, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mother.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Devastating time, which controls even the celestial demigods by its manifestation of past, present, and future, does not act on the transcendental plane. The influence of time is exhibited by the symptoms of birth, death, old age, and disease, and these four principles of material conditions are present everywhere in any part of the material cosmos up to the planet Brahmaloka, where the duration of life of inhabitants appears to us to be fabulous. Insurmountable time even brings about the death of Brahma. So, what to speak of the demigod like Indra, Chandra, Surya, Vayu, and Varuna? The astronomical influence directed by the different demigods over mundane creatures is also conspicuous by its absence. In material existence, the living entities are afraid of satanic influence. But for the devotee on the transcendental plane, there is so much there is no such fear at all. The living entities change their material bodies in different shapes and forms under the influence of the different modes of material nature. But in the transcendental state, the devotee is gunatit, or above the material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Thus, the false ego, I am the Lord of all survey, does not arise there. In the material world, the false ego of the living being trying to lord it over the material nature is something like the moth falling in a blazing fire. The material nature is something like the moths falling in blazing fire. Sorry, the moth is captivated by the glaring beauty of the fire, and when he comes to enjoy it, the blazing fire consumes him. In the transcendental state, the living being is in a pure consciousness, and as such has no false ego to lord it over the material nature. Rather, his pure consciousness directs him to surrender to the Supreme Lord, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Vasudevaha sarvam iti samahatma sudurlabhaha. All this indicates that in transcendental state there is neither material creation nor the causal ocean for material nature. The above mentioned state of affairs is factual on the transcendental plane, but is factually revealed in the transcendentalist knowledge of the advanced state of pure consciousness. Such transcendentalists are of two types, namely the impersonalist and the devotees. For the impersonalist, the ultimate goal or the destination is Brahmajyoti of the spiritual sky. But for the devotees, the ultimate goal is Vaikuntha planets. The devotees experience above mentioned state of affairs by attainment of spiritual forms for activity in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. But the impersonalist, because of his neglecting association of the Lord, does not develop a spiritual body for the spiritual activity, but remains a spiritual spark only, merged in the effulgent spiritual rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is not the Lord is the full-fledged form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. But the formless Brahmajyoti is simply eternity and knowledge. The Vaikuntha planets are also form of eternity, bliss, and knowledge, and therefore the devotees of the Lord who are admitted into the abode of the Lord also get the bodies of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. As such, there is no difference between one and another. The Lord's abodes, name, fame, entourage, etc., are of the same transcendental quality, and how this transcendental quality differs from the material world is explained herewith in this verse. In the Bhagavad Gita, three principal subjects have been explained by the Lord Sri Krishna, namely Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. But one can reach the Vaikuntha planets by the practice of Bhakti Yoga only. The other two are incompetent in helping one reach the Vaikuntha lokas, although they can, however, conveniently take one into the effulgence of Brahma Jyoti as described above. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone again to our daily Bhagavatam reading classes. So for those of you who joined, we are joined just now. We're reading from Canto 2, chapter 2, verse number 17. So yesterday, His Grace Sakira Prabhu very nicely explained about Labdho Pashyanti. And now Prabhupada takes this further. All right. So two things are mentioned in this verse. One is the influence of time and how no one is spared, even the great Brahma or any of the demigods are spared. But also Prabhupada discusses how material, how time does not influence devotees as well. And the second part, Prabhupada describes how Bhakti Yoga is superior than any other yoga. Right? So these are the two themes. So I'll try my best to get into both of these themes. We got about 20 minutes, so we'll try my best. So understanding time, right? In Bhagavad Gita, when I think about time, we've been discussing the Virat Swarup. So the thing that comes to my mind straight away was I am the all-devouring death. Right? Time, I am the all-devouring death. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. So in the material world, time is Krishna's energy, and that destroys everything, past, present, future. We cannot stop it. We cannot change anything. We cannot buy it. We cannot reverse it. Right? Srila Prabhupada used to often quote that you can conquer so many things, but you cannot conquer time. And we look at it. The example is given. Time is money. We say a lot of times. We also say, you look at billionaires or people who are, so to speak, the richest people on earth. Yes, they still have 24 hours. Nothing changes. So, time, the influence of time, is very difficult to conquer like that. Right. Prabhupada says in the verse that materialists are absorbed, right, in pursuits and of material pursuits, but over time, birth, death, age, old age, and disease catch up because that's time. That's the effect of time, influence of time. It says, there's a verse in Srīmad Bhāgavatam 3.31.1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Karmana Devam Naitrena Jantur Deho Papatye Triya Pravistha Udaram Pumso Reta Kanashraya. It says that the living entities that are bound by karma take birth again and again in different wounds and suffer again and again. So Prabhupada gives the example here. He gives the analogy of a moth. Right? In the purport, he says, he compares the materialists to the moth who are attracted to the flame. So he writes here, thus the false ego of I am the Lord of all I survey do not arise here. Because in the material world, the false ego of the living being trying to lord it over material nature is something like the moth falling in a blazing fire. The moth is captivated by the glaring beauty of the fire, and when he comes to enjoy it, the blazing fire consumes it. Right? You see these things, you come across these things where everyone, people are born, they go through this factory, so to speak, of studying, and they are taught to work for all their lives, and then, live on maybe a small pension, or if you're lucky, or if you are fortunate in some way, shape, or form, you'll have some money, and then you die, right? So you work, work, and work. We are in the rat race, as they say. People are chasing fame, wealth, and all the other opulences like that, working 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week because of that glow of success that attracts them, like a moth is attracted to the blazing fire. But the analogy is, what happens at the end? It devours the moth, it consumes the moth completely. So, like that, when we focus so much, our health breaks down, relationships issues, the the whole empire that we are trying to build, sort of in one way, shape, or form, crumbles. Right? We don't take anything with us. So, what to talk about materialists like us? What to talk about people who are materialists? Even demigods, Prabhupada says in the purport, are not exempt. Chandra, Surya, Indra, Vayu, Varuna. He gives all of their examples. And the all powerful living entity, Brahma, is also not exempt from it. It is said in Bhagavatam that even Brahma is afraid of Krishna's time, because at the end of Brahma's day, everything is dissolved. Right? We are studying from Srimad Bhagavatam. We can take example of Parikshit Maharaj as well, that he was cursed to die in 7 days. So you see, Brahma is fearless, is very fearful, and all the demigods are fearful. But Parikshit Maharaj, a pure devotee of the Lord, he's going to die in 7 days, yet he is completely fearless, totally absorbed in hearing about Krishna. That is all he wanted to do. Right? So we can see that the influence of time can be on the body, but not on the consciousness. Right? So this is a very important point that I take out of this. Is yes, time can be Krishna's energy. Time is the influence is very great on all of us. Every day we wake up, we are one day closer to that. So body is going to perish, right? This house or this laptop that I'm talking through, or this table that I'm sitting on, yes, it is. Eventually, time will consume all of this. But the consciousness that we've got, that is above, right? All of this. So you can see from Parikshit Maharaj's example, right, that his consciousness was above. It had transcended the three modes of material nature. Right? Prabhupada says in this purport, the living entities change their material bodies in different shapes and forms under the influence of different modes of material nature. But in the transcendental state, the devotee is gunatita, right? So which is beyond the modes of this influence of time and these modes of nature. And I think it is safe to say that we all have experienced this when we are absorbed deeply in kirtans at festivals or at programs. Right? When we come to the temple, even if it's that 1 week, we are throughout the week we are engaged in a daily worldly affairs. But when we come to temple, when we are sitting in kirtan, when we hear a nice class, or say these talks on Bhagavatam every day in the morning, we can feel a lot of times. We get these moments. It can be microseconds or it can be longer also. Some people, we can see that we can feel that bhakti has taken over. We feel that all the anxieties have gone away, all the worries in our daily lives have just sort of fallen by the wayside, just because we are so engaged, right? So we have all experienced this, and that's why we get Rajram Prabhu, who comes and does comes to our programs and a few things like that. We associate with him sometimes, and he says something that sort of really struck me. He always says that there are things that we keep coming back to this because we've had these moments of happiness that we've experienced, and that's what uh, gets us to keep coming back. Otherwise, on a Saturday night or a Sunday night, we keep coming back to the temple for 1 hour. We can be doing anything. Most people, they're out there in one way, shape, or form, doing some sort of sense gratification. But we keep coming back to the temple to associate with people, to taste prasadam, to just sit in kirtan and get absorbed completely. So Prabhupada says that the devotees of the Lord in the spiritual sky have no influence of time. Yes, everything is fresh. Yeah. So as I said, we have tasted this sometimes, right? Even in this material world, we have tasted this. And that is all thanks to Srila Prabhupada and his devotees and his disciples who have created such an amazing movement that we can all sit here and taste this. Right? Otherwise, just imagine where would we have been. So, the other thing that I wanted to go on to the next part of what Prabhupada discusses here is bhakti yoga in the pure state of affairs. Now, yoga is a common word, right? Now, in today's day and age, when we just say yoga, people just think about health, peace, yeah, all the material benefits that comes from yoga. But it is clearly said that, and Prabhupada explains it here also, that yoga actually means bhakti yoga. It just doesn't mean some sort of yogic practice for the body, as we've clearly said that the consciousness is different from the body, right? So the culmination of all different kinds of yoga, Prabhupada talks about karma yoga, jnana yoga, and bhakti yoga in this purport, but the culmination of all yoga is bhakti yoga. All other forms of yoga are just a means to get to bhakti yoga, right? All forms of yoga are just a means to get to bhakti yoga. Yeah. So yoga is bhakti yoga. All other are just a step to reach to bhakti yoga. So from the beginning of karma yoga to the end of bhakti yoga is a way of self-realization. So karma yoga, if we execute karma yoga without any fruitive desires, then we are beginning on the path of bhakti yoga, like that. And then when karma yoga increases in knowledge, and then we have renunciation and so on, that is the stage called jnana yoga that Prabhupada mentions in his purport. And then when jnana yoga increases in more and more meditation, right, to the super soul and various other physical processes, Prabhupada mentioned in one of his classes, right? Then we reach the stage of Ashtanga Yoga, the eightfold, yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. And then when Prabhupada says, and when someone surpasses this Ashtanga Yoga process also, then we reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, which is Bhakti Yoga. And that is the culminating point for all of this. So Bhakti Yoga is our ultimate goal, right? Prabhupada mentions here about transcendentalists, merging into the spiritual sky or the Brahma Jyotir. So the yogi who is progressive in this path from karma to jnana and to bhakti yoga is on the true path of eternal auspiciousness, where One who sticks to a particular point and does not make further progress is called Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi. But one who is fortunate to come to the point of Bhakti Yoga is to be understood to have surpassed all other forms of yoga. So the example of is given. So when we talk about Himalayas, right? I said yoga is Bhakti Yoga. So when we talk about Himalayas, Prabhupada says when we talk about Himalaya, we are referring to Mount Everest because that is the highest peak. That is the culminating point like that. Right? Yes, there are many mountains in the Himalayan ranges, but when we talk about Himalayas, we are referring to Mount Everest because that is the highest peak. So like that, when we're referring to yoga, it is Bhakti Yoga. So when someone is say practicing Jnana Yoga and he thinks he's reached the pinnacle, right? But that is not true because someone he has to make further progress. So where another example is given that suppose we want to climb a tall building, say it's 100 floors, right? And we're going up through stairs. Right? We'll go through to the 15th, the 20th, the 30th, the 50th, and the 80th floor, and so on. Right? We might reach, say, the 80th floor and say, I've reached my goal. But no, that is not true. That is, you're still not quote unquote successful. You still have to go higher. Your destination is the 100th floor. Similarly, all these yoga processes, Bhakti Yoga is the 100th floor. We can't reach a particular, say, 80th floor and say we are on the highest platform. We need to reach pure Krishna consciousness, which is the 100th floor, which is Bhakti Yoga. But Prabhupada says also that this Krishna consciousness movement, right, is like an elevator, right, that we can straight go within a minute, go from bottom, from 0 floor to 100th floor. Right? So in a short time, we can do that. Right? And that is the beauty of this movement. So Krishna consciousness is a very, very direct process. Yes, we can go step by step. Yes, through all of these processes, karma yoga, jnana yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and then we can reach Krishna. But Prabhupada has given us this direct process where we can go straight to Bhakti Yoga. We can see, and even if you want to go through all the steps, you want to climb the 100 steps, this day and age is not favorable. Lord Chaitanya has recommended that in this age, because of all the shortcomings, we are short-lived, we are disturbed, it's the age of quarrel, we are full of anxieties. This direct process is recommended. And that's why through this mercy, we can very simply chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We can immediately get engaged in this direct form of Krishna consciousness. We don't have to wait at all. This is the special mercy, the special gift that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada have got to us. Every day in the morning, not in the morning, throughout the day when we offer bhoga, we sing Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. It says, we say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are the most munificent incarnation of Krishna because you have given us direct love of Krishna. He has given us directly this process of direct Krishna consciousness, straight the elevator, 100th floor in a minute, straight up, like that. So, in this way, the only way to know God, know Krishna, is through Bhakti Yoga. In 18.55, Krishna says, Bhaktya abhigyanati yavam yas chasmi tatvataha. Only by devotional service can one understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as He is. So if one practices other yoga systems, right, there must be a mixture of bhakti, right, if one has to make progress. So slowly you can. But the ideal yogi, right, concentrates his attention on Krishna straight up. Prabhupada says, I came across this excerpt. I'm going to read as it is. Prabhupada says, the ideal yogi concentrates his attention on Krishna, who is beautifully colored as a cloud, whose lotus-like face is as effulgent as the sun, whose dress is brilliant with jewels, and whose body is garlanded. Illuminating all sides is his gorgeous luster, which is called the Brahmajyoti. He incarnates in different forms, such as Rama, Varaha, and Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He descends as a human being, as a son of Mother Yashoda, and he is known as Krishna, Govinda, and Vasudev. He is the perfect child, husband, friend, master, and he is full with all opulences and transcendental qualities. One who remains fully conscious of these features of the Lord is the highest yogi. This stage of perfection in yoga can be attained by bhakti yoga, as is confirmed in all Vedic literatures. Straight up, simple, Prabhupada says it so nicely. But we are neglectful, right, in a lot of ways. Right? It is simple, yet we get caught up in our daily affairs. So there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita where there's a word. It says, Avagyanati ma muda manusya tanum ashritam param bhavam agyanto mama bhuta maheshwaram. It says that fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. Right? So muda, fools or rascals. So only a rascal does not care for knowing Krishna. Right? So avagyanati also is very important here. It says neglectful. Right? What is God? I am God. People want to be God, right? But we are neglectful of our real position. The example is given of a criminal. A criminal says, I don't want to know anything about the government. I don't care. I'm not going to follow anything about the government. But there are rules and places. The police will come, right? And they will punish us in one way, shape, or form. Like that, if you don't want to know God, if you don't want to know about Krishna, if you don't want to know about Bhakti Yoga, we might practice other yoga systems. But if you don't want to know Bhakti Yoga, the material punishment of birth, death, old age, and disease will come to us. That'll be sufferings. So it's best to know straight the process of Bhakti Yoga. So Prabhupada gives us these 4 principles, which are so important, right? That books are the basis. Purity is the force. Preaching is the essence, and utility is the principle. So these are very, very important. They are just not, some principles that we study, but they're very, very practical in today's day and age, especially for us devotees. Very, very practical. Books are the basis. Right? Everything we got to do, the knowledge, the guidance, even the framework of our lives is there in these books, in Srila Prabhupada's books, Srīmad Bhāgavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and obviously all the other books that Prabhupada has written from there on. Because books are like map. They navigate, excuse me, they help us navigate our spiritual journey. Then he says purity is the force. You can see from Prabhupada's example. He went to America and converted all of these hippies, so to speak, into and from there on inspired millions of people and people like ourselves also to join this process of Bhakti Yoga. And that is because purity, he had purity. Right? Purity is the force. And preaching is the essence. Right? We got to go out and spread. This moment is a preaching moment. So Prabhupada often used to say that the essence of Bhakti Yoga is to awaken this the dormant Krishna consciousness in other people's heart, and that is through preaching. And then the last one he says is utility is the principle, which in simple terms means that whatever we've got, we use it in Krishna's service. Right? Prabhupada, used whatever money he had to print books. Right? That was his Guru Maharaj gave him the instruction of printing books whenever he had any money. So whatever you have like that, we use in Krishna's service. I just wanted to share just my meditation of late. Yes, all of these principles are there. We focus. I've been trying to focus on the second principle, that purity is a force. We can see that we're going out and we can go out and preach, or we can give classes like say today, or we can give talks. We do some some other things, organize festivals or organize other events and so on. But we have to know that purity is what sort of really carries us through. Purity is what gives us strength. Because without that, we can keep going. The analogy is given of you're trying to light a lamp without oil. Yes, you can light it up. It'll flicker uncontrollably, and then suddenly it won't be steady, and it'll just boom, gone. But this purity is a force we all need to focus on. I'm personally doing that in my life at the moment, where just chanting nicely, focusing on every word that we chant. It doesn't have to be something groundbreaking, just something simple. Doing a small service, even at the temple, that be cleaning the toilet or washing dishes, but just done with the right consciousness. It is motivating. That brings us the purity in our lives. So okay, it's just gone past 7. Sorry, I haven't realized. So I just wanted to end with, there are two things that Prabhupada tells us he wants us to learn from this verse. One is the influence of time, that even demigods, no one is spared from it. But a materialist, but a devotee can transcend time, gunatita. We can transcend the modes of material nature because through our consciousness. And then Prabhupada is clearly trying to say that bhakti yoga is the culmination of all yogic practices. None of the others are going to add. So it's up to ourselves, what are we trying to chase? The flame of material success, and like the moth that Prabhupada gives the example again in this verse, or that of a transcendental devotees? Or do we want to climb the steps to get to the 100th floor? Or do we take the elevator and straight through the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through the mercy of Prabhupada, they've given us the elevator, we rise straight up. So I'd like to end there. If there's any questions, comments, or corrections, please feel free to share. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Where can I get more information on the Bhakti Yoga? Which book should I be referring to?
Mataji, I think we just we start with Prabhupada's books when we're talking about Bhakti Yoga. So I think from what I understand, you're reading Krishna book. You are, Srīmad Bhāgavatam. All of these books are great. Nectar of Devotion is great as well. I find that helps me, or that has helped me. But I would say stick to Prabhupada's books. If you want more specific books, we can discuss it. But these are the books I would recommend.
Sure. And one more question. Sorry, for Sakirai Prabhu it is. He discussed about his Guru Maharaj was getting arrested in Russia. Just was hoping to get if there is any update.
Yes. Yes, Mataji, I can share. I don't know if Sakya Prabhu is, I'm sure he's usually here. But yeah, he has been released. And I'll share a video with you. He shares his experience also. So I'll share a video of him sharing his experience so you can relate with that.
Lovely. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a blissful day. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam
Thank you,
ki
Prabhu.
jai.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you
Hare
for the
Krishna.
class.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.